A few years ago, I went to school in BYU, Hawaii, in Laie, Hawaii, and there I came to appreciate fully the beauty and the amazement, the wonder and awe that the Lord has in His hand of creations. Now, living there, I began to really appreciate, like I said, and I wanted to give back to the community. And so I started becoming more active in a few beach cleanups every so often. There was one beach cleanup in particular that sparked my memory as I thought about this topic. Now, I found many things in the ocean and on the beach, namely plastic bags, there was glass, there were cigarettes, there was even a whole car tire that we found. But one thing in particular that really unsettled me and kind of just struck me right in the heart was a whole toilet seat that we found that was being used as a home for a few shellfish and some species of barnacle. Now, looking back on this, I can see and understand some people when they say that that's a funny experience. And now I can reason with them. Yeah, that's a kind of a funny thing. Maybe because it's just a random thing to find in the ocean. However, as I began to think about what I found, I became infuriated with the carelessness that some people have with our world. It was disgusting, and the lack of respect that some people have for the only world that we have, it was unfathomable to me. In a previous speech, I mentioned the story of a turtle who was looking for food, maybe for his family or for his own benefit, but he saw something on the bottom of the ocean that looked like a new plant. And so he swam down to eat the plant, to try to taste it. However, to his horror, it turned into a beer plastic that was used to collect all the beer cans together. Now, hearing this experience and many others like this also deeply saddened me. And it made me start to realize that there's a bigger problem here than the whole world realizes. Green Life Report states that 9 million tons of waste is dumped in the ocean yearly. To put this in more proportion for us, this is the equivalent of one garbage truck of plastic dumped into the ocean every minute of every day, all year long. And sadly, this statistic supposedly is growing each year. In the 70s, there was a story about people who would try to dump chemicals into the ocean because they believed that the water, making up 70% of the ocean, which is, in that time I can understand them thinking this logic, the water would dilute all of the chemicals and it would end up not affecting anything. However, when you dump chemicals into the ocean or into any body of water, plankton, which are tiny bacteria, ends up eating these chemicals and becoming infected inside. And so plankton is the smallest source of the food chain. When plankton are devoured and digested by larger animals, this animal becomes even more infected than the plankton was because of the high concentration of toxicity in them. This animal, in turn, gets digested by another animal, another larger animal, or a whale or a shark, or a larger fish, which ends up making them even more toxic and endangered than the plankton was originally. And so if you fast forward, these fish can end up on your plate at any restaurant and can end up endangering your safety and health or the health of your family and friends. In 2050, it is estimated that there will be more plastic in the ocean than actual fish. At the moment, there is not a known solution for this chemical dump problem or pollution problem. However, what we can do now is all start to prevent further damage to our ecosystem and our beautiful world. There are many teams, such as the NOAA, or the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, that focus on cleaning up dead zones. A dead zone is a beach or an area of water that is cut off from humanity. It is blocked off completely. No one is allowed to even get near it. This is extremely saddening to my soul that there's enough pollution to be extremely dangerous to people, that prevents them from going near the area. There are many associations and groups that focus on cleaning up these kind of areas. And so, along with these associations, I imagine not a lot of us are going to dedicate our whole lives into joining these groups. But what we can all do is participate in small cleanups, such as the cleanups I was participating in Laie, Hawaii. Another thing we can do is when we see trash or plastic, we can recycle it or just throw it away. Don't ever leave it on the ground. We can use reusable bottles, such as those metal containers or anything that is not plastic or one-use bottles. Instead of plastic bags at the supermarket, we can ask for paper. Almost all stores have paper bags, but they are usually hidden under the counter because they're more expensive to the stores to disperse. The damage has been done to the world, but we also have the opportunity to prevent further damage. If we continue the way that we're living now, the world's oceans, which give us life, will become a toxic soup and will eventually kill all of the beauty which surrounds us. This world is the only world that we have. It is our home. With all the problems of pollution in front of our eyes, please, let us together take a stand and change the future of this world by preserving the beauty that God has blessed us with in this earth. Thank you.